Hello and welcome back to the School of Discipleship. My name is Björn, and in this video we will talk about discipleship and modeling in small groups. What do these things have to do with each other? If you would ask a number of Christians how they came to faith, the majority would answer that it happened through relations, through family members, relatives, friends, study mates, workmates, neighbors, etc., through people they knew since before. So making disciples is done through relations. This being a fact, in most cases, we would expect to find this also in the gospel record on how Jesus went about making disciples. The gospel records do not tell if Jesus knew any of the 12 disciples before he called them to follow him. I assume they knew enough about Jesus to trust him, for when he called them to follow him, they seem to have left their social context and career behind. They trusted Jesus enough to put him before other things in life. The Gospels do tell us about some cases where one guy tells a relative or friend about Jesus and brings him to Jesus too. So close relations were involved. When Jesus was training his 12 disciples and later sent them out 2 by 2 to reach the towns with the gospel, he said that when they arrive in a town, they should seek out the person who is most worthy there, and then stay in his house as long as they stay in that town. If the most worthy person was not a believer, he would soon become one through the efforts of the disciples staying with him and his household with him. The purpose with this was, of course, that the home of that person would become a house church where meetings would be held, converts would gather, fellowship meals would be eaten, people would find a safe haven where they could receive help, etc. His home would become a training place for new disciples and a bridgehead for new evangelistic efforts, and eventually other church plants. In many places in the New Testament, for example, in the book of Acts, we find several examples of the growth of the church taking place in the homes of persons who have received the gospel. The gospel spread quite naturally through existing relations. This is how the Christian church grew during the first centuries until it became the state religion in the Roman Empire about 300 years after the ministry of Jesus, and the emperor provided church buildings for the Christians to gather in. As I see it, the church was stronger in the earlier centuries when it was associated with homes. The Christian faith is a matter of relations, developing relations with God and people. And a home is a better place for relations, I think. Today we have church buildings, we have homes, we have home churches, and we have small groups. Small groups may gather anywhere. When thinking disciple making, I think a small group or a home is a better place to invite interested persons to, because in this smaller context, it is easier to develop relations compared with a church building where at least the sanctuary room is designed primarily for big meetings. In most cases, it is not intended for fellowship meals and deeper conversations. Sharing the gospel is much more than just conveying a message or facts. It is a complexity of relations and values, lifestyle, and more. Making disciples happens very much through modeling. People observe and learn. People help doing things together. an experienced person acting together with one less experienced. They plan together, they reflect together on what they do, what they have done, how it worked out, how they can do it better, and so on. The natural context for making disciples is through relations and the band of friends, the small group or the house church. Yeah, that's the place where this happens more naturally. Also, because the group consists of different persons with different abilities, different spiritual gifts, different experiences, different personalities, and these complete each other and form a team, each team member modeling in his way. So you can see that disciple making and small groups, they go hand in hand.